Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling a massive topic. Literally, we're talking about the Great Wall of China. When you picture it, you probably imagine an impenetrable fortress, a colossal dragon of stone and earth snaking over mountains, built to keep invaders out. And for centuries, that's the story we've been told. It's a symbol of Chinese strength and endurance, a wonder of the world. But what if I told you that the Great Wall, for all its might, was actually a monumental failure? Now, before you jump into the comments, hear me out. This isn't about disrespecting this incredible feat of engineering. The sheer scale of its construction is mind-boggling. We're talking about a project that spanned dynasties, involving millions of laborers over nearly 2,000 years. But to understand its failure, we first need to understand its purpose. What was it actually for? The common answer is simple: to stop the northern nomadic tribes like the Xiongnu, the Mongols, and the Manchus from raiding and invading China. These were skilled horsemen, fast and unpredictable. The idea was to build a barrier so high and so long that these cavalry-based armies simply couldn't get past it. It was meant to be the ultimate defensive line. On paper, it sounds like a brilliant plan, right? A physical keep out sign stretching for thousands of miles. The problem is, a wall is only as strong as the people who guard it. And this is where the first major flaw appears. Manning the entire length of the Great Wall was a logistical nightmare. Think about it. The wall traverses some of the most remote and difficult terrain on the planet. Deserts, mountains, you name it. Getting soldiers, supplies, and food to these far-flung watchtowers was an immense and constant challenge. During strong and unified dynasties, like the early Ming dynasty, the wall was relatively well-maintained and garrisoned. Soldiers were paid, supplied, and morale was high. In these periods, the wall did serve as a decent deterrent. It slowed down raiding parties, forcing them to find specific weak points and giving the Chinese armies time to mobilize and respond. It wasn't a perfect shield, but it was a functional part of a larger defensive system. But what happened when a dynasty started to decline? When the central government was weak, corrupt, or bankrupt, the soldiers on the wall were the first to suffer. Their pay would be late or disappear entirely. Supplies would stop coming. They were left isolated, freezing, and starving thousands of miles from home. What would you do in that situation? Many guards simply deserted their posts. Others, and this is the crucial part, were susceptible to bribery. This is the big secret of the Great Wall's failure. It was breached far more often by betrayal than by force. An invading army didn't need to knock down the wall. They just needed to find a disgruntled general or a few starving guards at a key gate. A bag of gold could open a gate that 1,000 soldiers couldn't break down. It was a human problem, not an engineering one. Let's look at the most famous example: the fall of the Ming dynasty in 1644. The Manchus, the very people the later sections of the wall were built to stop, were waiting on the other side. But how did they get in? They didn't storm the wall with ladders and siege engines. Instead, a Ming general named Wu Sangui, feeling betrayed by the new rebel government that had taken over Beijing, literally opened the gates at the strategic Shanhai Pass and let the entire Manchu army march right through. One act of betrayal undid centuries of construction. The Great Wall couldn't stop a political decision. And this wasn't a one-off event. Throughout history, this happened repeatedly. The Mongols, under Genghis Khan and his successors, didn't let the wall stop them either. They often just went around it. Or, you guessed it, they paid off or intimidated local commanders to gain passage. The wall gave a false sense of security. The emperors in their comfortable palaces in the south could look at a map and feel safe, seeing this big, thick line separating them from the barbarians. But on the ground, the reality was very different. Furthermore, the wall was incredibly expensive, not just to build, but to maintain. It was a constant drain on the imperial treasury. We're talking about resources and manpower that could have been used for other things, like strengthening the economy, investing in a more mobile and modern army, or engaging in diplomacy. Some advisors throughout Chinese history argued exactly this. They believed that trade and diplomacy, treating the northern tribes as equals, and building economic ties would be a more effective and cheaper wall than one made of stone. This approach, known as Hekin, or peace through kinship, was sometimes used, involving strategic marriages and trade agreements, and it often proved more successful at keeping the peace than the physical barrier. So when we say the Great Wall failed, we don't mean it was useless. It did function as an elevated highway for troops, a signaling system with its beacon towers, and a customs checkpoint to control trade and migration during times of peace. It shaped settlement patterns and defined a cultural boundary between the agrarian society of China and the nomadic cultures of the steppe. Its symbolic power is undeniable, but did it fulfill its primary purpose of stopping major invasions? The historical record says no. The 2 times China was completely conquered by outside forces, it was by people from the north whom the wall was supposed to keep out. The Mongols, who established the Yuan dynasty, and the Manchus, who established the Qing dynasty. In both cases, the wall proved to be little more than a speed bump, overcome by strategy, politics, and human weakness. It teaches us a powerful lesson. No physical barrier, no matter how grand, can be a substitute for good governance, a strong and united society, and smart diplomacy. The real defense of a nation isn't just its walls, but the will and well-being of its people, from the emperor in the palace to the lonely guard on the most distant watchtower. The Great Wall stands today as a magnificent testament to human ambition and perseverance, but also as a silent reminder of the limits of stone and the complexities of human history. So, what do you think? Was the Great Wall a worthy investment or a colossal miscalculation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's a fascinating debate with no easy answers. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.